you've been searching for a luxury 4-bedroom, single-story home in the Spanish Spring area with a 4-car garage, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through a quick move-in Wisley floor plan at the Harris Ranch community by Toll Brothers. This is a 3,206 square foot home. It has a view and it is move-in ready, priced at $880,000. If you're new to the channel, my name is David Tully, and I'm your go-to resource for Reno, Sparks, and Northern Nevada real estate. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or possibly relocating to Sparks, Nevada, I'd love to help. All my information is down below. So you're probably wondering where Harris Ranch is located, and it's located in the northern part of Spanish Springs off of Pyramid Highway. I would say the only real con to this area is you're a little bit further away from amenities. I'd say you're about 11 to 13 minutes away from a Save Mart and a Winco, which are going to be your closest grocery stores. And if you want to go to places like Costco, Walmart, Best Buy, Sprouts, or even Trader Joe's, you're probably in this 17 to 19 minute range, which still isn't too bad, but you're just a little bit further north. All right, today I'm going to be taking you through a tour of the Wisley floor plan. This is a quick move-in home at Harris Ranch by Toll Brothers. Got the nice modern farmhouse exterior. The rest of the home is stucco, and then you have a composition shingle roof. The Wisley is a 3,206 square foot home with 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, an office, and a 4-car garage. And this home is currently move-in ready, and it's priced at $880,000. And what's really fun about this home is my wife and I actually almost bought this exact home just down the street from this exact home. So this one definitely makes me feel pretty good because I do really love this home. But as you see, you got this nice wide entryway, 10-foot ceilings. They do have upgraded LVP here. And then once again, this is an upgraded 5.25 inch baseboard. I do think it should be standard, but it is a nice feature to upgrade, definitely. And then over here, you got the standard eggshell or knockdown texture, which just about every builder has standard. I can't remember if this home is 2 or 3 zones, but you have an Ecobee thermostat right here, which is really nice. You can connect it to your phone. And then you have 2 bedrooms up here, kind of like a Jack and Jill setup. And if you were to build this home from dirt, you can actually turn this into a multi-gen or an in-law suite, which is pretty fun. I think that's about a $30,000 option. And then in the bedrooms, you have a nice upgraded carpet. One thing to budget for when you buy a brand new home is going to be window covering, so keep that in mind. This is a pretty good sized room. Got plenty of space here for a desk or a nice dresser. And then this is this is a pretty sizable room, maybe a 12 by 13 or 12 by 14. Not bad at all. Here you got a pretty standard closet setup. Got nice matte black handles, which are an upgrade. And over here, you got this Jack and Jill bathroom. Got a dual vanity setup. I think these are Kohler faucets, Kohler sinks. Standard countertops are gonna be Pietrofina. This is a standard countertop. And then you got nicely upgraded cabinets, and then these brass cabinet pulls or handles, which look really nice. And then you got this same LVP flooring in here, which don't worry, it's waterproof, but I still personally wouldn't let anything sit on LVP for too long. So I would recommend cleaning that water or moisture fairly quickly. And over here, this is gonna be a slightly upgraded tub. And then this is not their standard tile. So this is gonna be an upgraded subway, which is actually kind of cool. It's got this interesting texture to it. And then typical tile stops right around the shower head. So, you know, they extended it all the way to the ceiling, which is an additional expense, but you know, it looks really nice. And then right over here, got that other secondary bedroom, which is just about the same size, I would say, probably 12 by 13, maybe 12 by 14. Then you got that same space over here for a desk or a dresser, standard closet setup here. And then in most of their secondary bedrooms, they don't put an actual light. So you have a ceiling light or ceiling fan pre-wire, which you can see. And then since they don't have a light in here, they're required to put a half hot. So the top outlet right there is controlled by one of these switches. So it's not too bad, really. I still haven't put some secondary lights in some of my other secondary rooms in my Toll Brothers home. And then right over here is gonna be a half bath and a laundry area. Right over here is gonna be a nice half bath with those same brass or gold faucets and toilet paper holder. And then you got some nice storage here, which I think is a nice touch to have that in a powder room. And over here, you have a nice laundry room with upgraded cabinets and counter space. There is no sink, so if you build from dirt, you can upgrade to a sink. And this is currently just a gas dryer setup, no electric. You're gonna have to get an electrician if you want them to put in a 220 outlet. And then down here, you can see this is lots of upgraded LVP flooring. So the standard option would be carpet over here. So they upgraded LVP flooring here. That fireplace is a nice touch, but that's also definitely an upgrade. And then like I said, you have another zone here. So it's at least 2 zones, but there might even be another thermostat. And you got some nice areas. You can put some small floating shelves, and then you can also mount your TV with the outlet there. And then a Smurf tube, I believe, runs over here. So you can hide your cables. And right over here is a nice office or den area. I personally was going to use this as my office area. And then the same thing here is you have a half hot over there, and then a ceiling light or ceiling fan pre-wire. And then, you could put your desk there, over here in the middle of the room. And overall, I'd say it's a pretty good size. I don't know, maybe a 12 by 12 in just this main area. And then you got another 2.5 feet with that little indentation or extra section over there. All right, and then also they upgraded the electrical lights. So they don't usually have lights in the great room, which I think is odd, but I think I paid about $1,800 or $2,000 for my 4 can lights in my great room. And then you got a ceiling light and ceiling fan pre-wire there. Those must have been included, those lights, because there's no pre-wire is my guess. And then they also have a pre-wire here for a ceiling light or a ceiling fan. And then they added 2 pendant light pre-wires here. So you could add some pendant lights above the island, which is a nice touch. And then what I can tell you is there's a lot in this kitchen that is upgraded. So standard countertops are gonna be granite. These are quartz countertops, and they have many different levels of quartz and pricing. That faucet is gonna be an upgrade. I do believe KitchenAid is standard now. Used to be Gen Air, but still looks really nice. Some of the nicer KitchenAid stuff that I've seen. These cabinets are gonna be full overlay, that's an upgrade. You got uppers, these are definitely extended cabinets. And then you have an additional expense, usually for the cabinet handles or pulls. And then backsplash is also typically not included. If you got it as standard, it usually goes only up about 6 inches, and it would be the same material as your countertops. Got a nice microwave, double oven, nice gas stove here. And then you got a nice dishwasher. And then I do like that you get a nice walk-in pantry here. And then what I want to show you is, this is also one of the biggest expenses when buying a new home, other than the actual cost of the home, your down payment, but it's going to be your backyard landscaping. Homes in this community are typically average about 12,000 square feet. I'm not sure what this one is, but it might be slightly smaller because you have a view. But you got a decent side yard, could probably fit a shed there. Got an AC unit, and then this covered patio is included. And then as you can see, you got a pretty decent view over here. So still got some space to extend out the patio, put some grass or turf, or maybe xeriscape it, because who wants to cut grass, right? Well, I say that, but I have grass in my backyard because I got a almost 2-year-old. And then over here, just down this hall, we're gonna show you kind of a hidden bedroom. Over here is gonna be a coat closet. And then most garages in model homes are locked, but this is a quick move-in home and not a model home. So let's show you this beautiful 4-car garage. So most builders don't actually paint the garages or put in baseboards, but Toll Brothers is one of maybe 2 or 3 builders in town that actually does it. Looks really nice. Maybe you can add an epoxy floor like I did in my garage, and the garage will just feel like an extension of your home. It's absolutely awesome. I really love it. And then you got a nice tankless water heater over here. Got an easy connection over here if you wanted to add in a water softener filtration system. I highly recommend it. Usually your water shutoff for the main house is under there as well, or right up there, one of those. And then you got a nice man door here, which some of their communities charge for this. And you actually have a pretty decent side yard here, so that's really nice too, especially if you have some kids or maybe some pets, or maybe you want to put the shed on this side. And then what's really nice is, this is a 3-car garage. So you have 2 here, and then you can park 2 here. It's like a tandem. So you can park here, And then you can, I mean, really depending on the size, you could almost fit 3 cars on just this side if you have fairly small cars. But you know, most people are probably going to use a section of this for storage. And even one of my clients is going to put in a golf simulator here, which I think would be really awesome in this 4-car garage. All right, and over here, I'm going to show you another secondary bedroom with an ensuite. We got a nice standard closet here. This is going to be that upgraded carpet, same 5 1/4 inch baseboards. And then you got another ceiling light pre-wire or ceiling fan pre-wire, half hot in the corner. And then right over here, it's going to be the same Pietrofina countertops, which are standard. Same upgraded cabinets and handles, LVP flooring. And then I do really like this kind of textured subway tile that they used again. Upgraded the tile, took it all the way to the ceiling, which looks really nice. And then, as you know, my favorite is, I think if you're gonna put in a nice shower, I think putting in a frameless glass door, which really kind of hides more of the door and shows off more of the shower, I think is a nice touch. And then last but not least, beautiful pantry again. We're gonna check out the nice primary bedroom. So you got a really good sized primary bedroom. They did upgrade the lights or add 4 lights here. You do still have a ceiling fan or ceiling light pre-wire. And I don't believe there is a half hot in here because we do have lights. And here's another view of the primary bedroom. And then yes, there is the 3rd thermostat. So it's 3 zones, which is really nice. Then you have a outlet on the wall with a Smurf tube. And then down below, you got a coax cable and an Ethernet port, probably Cat 6. So you can mount your TV and hide the cables. And you still got a pretty cool view over here. Over here, you got the beautiful primary bathroom. Once again, like I said, some Toll Brothers communities charge for this tub. I'm not sure if they do here, but in some of the other communities, that tub costs around $8,000. And then what I also really like that they did in this home is the standard countertops are going to be Pietrofina, but these are going to be a nice upgraded quartz, which I really wish I did in my Toll Brothers home, but maybe I'll do it in a year or 2 after the warranty's up. And then you got some nice Kohler brass and gold finishes, upgraded cabinets, got another vanity here. And then what I also like is they put in the vanity light pre-wire. So if you want to put in a vanity light one day, the pre-wire is already there. And then they also upgraded this tile in the shower. This looks really nice. Got some more gold finishes here. And then, of course, my favorite, frameless glass shower door. And right over here, you got one of the walk-in closets, which is a decent size. And on the other side of the toilet area and the bathroom, you have the toilet area, and then you have another nice walk-in closet. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of this beautiful move-in ready Wisley floor plan at the Harris Ranch community. Once again, this is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath home with a 4-car garage and an office, and this home is currently move-in ready at $880,000. If you have any questions or comments about the specific home or community, please leave them down in the comments below and I would be happy to help. And if you want to learn more about Reno, Sparks, and brand new construction in the area, check out some of my other videos.